Today I'm going to preview Oklahoma versus Alabama with my buddy Ari Temkin, and all that's coming up after the bump.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time, and today we're going to preview Oklahoma versus Alabama on 105.3 The Fan. Let's take a listen.
This is the home of the NFC East champion Dallas Cowboys. 105.3 The Fan.
KRLD FM and HD1 Dallas Fort Worth.
A radio.com station. You're listening to DFW Sports Station. 105.3 The Fan.
Along with Chris Arnold, I am Ari Temkin. This is your Turn It On, Leave It On station, 105.3 The Fan. Almost underway at the Cotton Bowl, about to kick Notre Dame and Clemson, the first game of the college football playoff semifinals. And then, of course, the big one, at least certainly in terms of fandom in DFW, Oklahoma and Alabama.
Boomer.
Sooner.
Fort Lauderdale, Miami Gardens.
They call it the Orange Bowl, but it's not in the old Orange Bowl.
It's in Miami Gardens.
Down that way.
Yeah. The Cotton Bowl is not the Cotton Bowl. The Orange Bowl is not the Orange Bowl.
Exactly.
Let's talk about it with RJ Young, OU Insider. He also does great work on YouTube. Go check out his OU and sports page. RJ Young joining us right now. RJ. Hey, RJ. You getting nervous?
Nah, man. This is like a holiday for me, Ari. You know how this is.
Chris Arnold, my co-host, is a OU grad, so you're amongst good company here.
Sooner.
There you go.
So what, as we've gotten, there's been a lot of anticipation for this game, and we're finally here. As we've gotten closer, how much has your opinion of this changed, if at all?
Somewhat, but only toward what Oklahoma has to do. I was coming in here thinking that it might take some superhuman antics from Kyler Murray to win, when really I'm just going, if OU can run the ball for over 250, I think they can win this game. I'm going to say that knowing that they average 253 a game and they average 49.5 a game. But in games where they get over 250 and get close to that 300 mark, they're really tough to beat, because then you get into the things that just fall into place, like clock management, right? Like being able to move the football when you want to move the football, like imposing your will on offensive line. So if you're looking for one thing, I would say look at the OU run game.
And you know what? I like the way you're thinking, because the OU's offense is very explosive. A lot of big chunk plays, and we already know about Kyler and what he does. I've been kiddingly telling all my friends or different people from Alabama when they say, you think OU's got a chance? I say, yep, we will have to win 73-69 because our defense sucks. But then I've heard that the defense actually got a little bit better when they fired Mike Stoops.
Well, it depends on who you ask, right? Because they gave up.
Exactly.
They gave up
a little bit. I don't mean ridiculously better. I just mean a little bit.
Is the glass half full or is the glass half empty?
Well, so that's just it, right? It's no matter how you look at it, there's still half a glass there, right? Because
yeah, sure is.
Because you're talking about giving up points, right? They've given up 37 a game since Ruffin took over, 32 a game on the season. So, but when you're talking about turnovers and you're talking about forcing teams to make mistakes and then getting points out of your defense, decidedly toward Ruffin and the boys. And I think most folks would prefer Ruffin and the boys to Mike and the boys, because you're not in this game unless you got 12 points out of the OU defense against West Virginia. And you're certainly not winning by 12 if you don't get that big turnover safety out of Trey Brown in the Big 12 championship game. So I think if you're going to send the grits blitz, if you're going to send the house, Ruffin McNeil's the guy to do it. And against this Alabama team, you're going to have to take some chances and hope to get lucky.
Can you talk about that Alabama defense? I saw a story where Alabama has potentially 5 first-round draft picks on that defense.
Yeah, easily. Starting up front with Quentin Miller, number 92, as Lincoln Riley called him. Also the dude who, I don't know if you saw this video that made the social media rounds, but he was asked what he thought about Kyler Murray and had to stop himself, But they feel real good about themselves, and they should, because they absolutely can play. How old am I that I remember Patrick Surtain playing at Southern Miss, and his kids out there for Alabama doing the D, man.
Look out.
But on the other side, and this is something we've talked about, one of the most underrated parts of Oklahoma's explosive offense is an offensive line. And how many first round picks are there amongst that offensive line for OU?
At least 3. right?
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
and one of those guys isn't even eligible for the draft yet. That's the shocking thing. Creed Humphrey is the prodigy on that line, and everybody needs to understand that if that guy is able to get off the ball and get into Quinnen Williams or whoever they decide to put him head up against, it's a long day for Alabama, because I took this to heart. When Lincoln Riley says something, he's not usually blowing smoke, right? So one of the things he said was Creed Humphrey is the most talented player on our football team. That's including Kyler Murray. That's including Rodney Anderson. So that dude at center. And then you got a couple of All-Americans, depending on who you ask. Drew Samia and Ben Powers on either side of him. Cody Ford is projected by some to be a first-round pick at right tackle. And then Bobby Evans is probably your best offensive lineman when you talk about experience. You're talking about starts. You're talking about just being able to succeed on this stage. So that offensive line and its ability to stay injury-free, stay healthy, and keep its continuity has been really the thing that I've been the most impressed with this entire OU team.
So OU's got a great offensive line. Alabama's got a great defense. By the way, that defensive line for Alabama features a guy that's 6'7".
I mean,
Wow.
Okay. I mean,
this is so funny. Okay, I throw it out there because someone said to me, "How is Kyler Murray going to look over that defensive line?" And then somebody else said, "Wait a minute, defensive line? How are they going to find Kyler Murray?"
well, it's not even that you got to find him. It's that he's demonstrated that he can throw over the top of these guys anytime he wants, and because of his ability to move outside the pocket and slide up, slide down, slide left, slide right, I don't really see it as a big deal. Like, I get the short thing, but maybe it's because I'm a short guy, and I don't really care. Be 6'7", be 7'6" for all I care. Can you catch him? Can you get in the way of the pass? Because nobody else has been able to do it, and maybe these are the guys to do it. I just don't see it as a big deal.
Okay, what's the Achilles heel for the Sooners? What is the thing that you fear most that can trip them up? We know the defense doesn't stop anybody, but can you talk about something that people may not know that you have a fear of?
The nickel situation, the nickel Sam linebacker situation, because that's interchangeable in this defense. Depending on who you ask, it's a 3-4 or it's 4-3 or it's a 3-3-5. But when you see Caleb Kelly on the field, or you see a nickel safety like Brendan Buki Radley-Hiles on the field, that's the guy that you need to watch, because if that guy makes a play, the defense plays well. If that guy doesn't make a play, it usually goes for 6.
RJ Young joining us, OU Insider. When I look at this game, and it's just been beaten over the head with the analysis of the extended period of time before, but to me, with all things being equal, OU is going to need something to. I mean, they need to win the sack differential. They need to create a turnover. Obviously, that's when we talk about football, it seems like such a cliche at this point. Yeah, you need to create turnovers, but even more so in this game where, like, that was the difference of the West Virginia game. Even though your defense isn't great, you create a turnover, and all of a sudden that can flip it. That's a team that doesn't beat itself in Alabama, but I mean, do you think that also is a part of what could make this favor Oklahoma or go towards Oklahoma in the upset here?
I think it's the only thing that could work, because we know that the offense is going to do what the offense does. I even think that if you ask Nick Saban what he thought about this offense, he knows they're going to score on them. It's about how often they can score after the defense gets stops. Now, this is probably going to surprise some folks, but I expect Oklahoma to get 3 or 4 stops today. The thing about it is, can you get 6 instead of 0 or 3? Because if you can get 6 off of those stops, you can win this football game, right? Because everybody knows what the offense can do, and as good as Alabama's offense is, the higher this score gets, the more it favors Oklahoma.
Let's go back in history just a little bit. The last time these two teams met, it was in the Sugar Bowl. That was the game where Trevor Knight was the quarterback. Bob Stoops is saying all along that the SEC was overrated, and Alabama came in there. Their only loss was that crazy field goal that was short, and Auburn ran it back for a touchdown that knocked them out. And there were some people from Alabama saying, well, we weren't focused, and OU beat us that way. Can you talk about the history of those two programs and the fact that Alabama insisted on the game being played in the Orange Bowl, and OU fans have no problems packing up going to Miami? They used to do it all the time.
Well, I mean, number one, the playoff committee has criteria that says not to put the top seed at a home field disadvantage, and we all know that Dallas is home base for Oklahoma, so that's immaterial to me. But when you're talking about the rivalry between the two teams, Alabama ain't beat Oklahoma since 1963. All right? You know, look, you've had 3 opportunities to beat Oklahoma in the 21st century, failed on all 3, and Trevor Knight might be the worst quarterback to to play at Oklahoma since Sam Bradford, right? I mean, you got to go back a
Well,
ways.
Sam won the Heisman Trophy.
Well,
He
I'm
had a
saying
kid.
that after that dude, you could say you're pretty good. Landry Jones, pretty good, right? But in between there, you've had a couple Heisman winners, right? I mean,
Right.
and you also had Blake Bell, who
Baker.
everybody enjoyed and everybody liked. So what I'm saying is over the last 10 years, that guy is the guy that everybody's looking at like, I don't know about this dude. And then you get what I call Sugar Bowl Trevor Knight because he hadn't been able to throw the ball all season, and all of a sudden he showed up for that game to destroy that Alabama defense, and nobody expected to see that. So you're going to need somebody like him to show up. And maybe the Trevor Knight for Oklahoma this year is the defense itself.
All right. I guess I'm one of the lone media members to actually pick Oklahoma in this game, and that's, I mean, it's not the smart move. They're 14-point underdogs, but maybe I just want to see it so badly that I've decided to pick them, and that's why.
Well, I guess.
Are you picking them?
I'm picking them for a different reason, right? I get the spread, and the spread is justified. I also just don't believe that Alabama is really taking them that seriously, especially with the defense. I really don't. I think that this team is reading its own press in such a way that Nick Saban says back in October, look, I need you guys to come up with some stuff to tell my players they're not that good. I need you guys to start writing some of that rat poison that you do, because this is not necessarily the worst team to ever play in a playoff, and it certainly could be the best team to play in a playoff. And if they believe that going into this game, that could jump up and bite them. And I'm a big believer in hubris. Folks that have too much of it usually go down, and this team has a ton of it.
They sure do. They are the dynasty of college football. I've said the best football program, and I'm from OU, best football program, high school, college, and pros, and Nick Saban is the devil. By the way, we got Tolos texting in, Boomer Sooner Tolos texting in saying, hey, Trevor Knight got ruined by Katy Perry. Everybody knows that.
Hey, look here. He didn't have to respond to that.
You know that story.
He didn't have to respond to that. He could. I was in the press box for that TCU game, and as soon as he responded, I said, "Oh no, oh no, nah."
Oh no, Katy Perry. Oh no, she's got a crush on him. She's ruined his football career. Real quick. I know you have to do some recognizance. We call it when you spy on the other team reconnaissance. So, yeah, it's
reconnaissance.
It's a spying. I know you had to find out what's going on with Alabama. Tell us about the Alabama offense. What have you heard about Tua, and what should the OU defense expect with the Alabama offense at this game?
They're going to try to establish the run. They're going to try to put those 3 running backs they got that could start for anybody else to work, and expect this triple option is what I call it, but it's really an RPO that they run that they really love between Tua Tagovailoa and Jerry Jeudy in the slot, right? Where it's a play action fake, but he could give it to the running back, or if that linebacker, like I was mentioning before, the Sam linebacker or the nickelback bites down, that's Jerry Jeudy on the slant, and he usually can take that one to the house. If that dude backs up, they just hand it off and they do what they do. Now, I expect, Oklahoma to watch film and maybe drop down a safety to help with that over the top, but wrinkles like that are going to be everywhere. I expect everything to have an RPO on it unless they are just selling out for the run, because the pass is going to be there for them. If they can run the ball, they can also control the offense that is Oklahoma. And if you're Alabama, that's what you want to do. You want to leave your offense on the field as long as possible, or you just didn't watch the Army tape and you learned nothing.
Someone just texted in, Chris is called reconnaissance. Yes, or recon. There you go, recon, yeah. So anyway, some more about this Alabama offense. If Tua is not 100%, how much of Hurts are we going to see?
Who knows, man, because I expect Tua to be 100%. Did you see that guy play? I saw that dude play. I saw him practice.
Oh, yeah.
Look, unless Tua Tagovailoa is having a bad game, I don't expect to see Jalen Hurts at all. Maybe a wildcat wrinkle because he can throw the ball, but you don't have to do it. So why would you do it?
I'm going to tell you why. I mean, and this is what I found out. I found out from some Alabama media guys that Nick Saban loves Hurts, and that's one of the reasons why he wouldn't commit to Tua as being his starting quarterback the first month of the season. He just loves Hurts, and primarily because he would prefer to run the ball more. Hurts is not as good a passer as Tua, and he just has a fear of what can go wrong. He's one of those old school coaches who has a fear of what could go wrong on a pass.
Let me tell you something, Chris. It ain't one love affair with one quarterback or another. You want to keep him on campus, all right? It's that simple, okay? Because if you love Trevor Lawrence in the summer, you start Kelly Bryant to start the season, and then you say, hey, hey, this guy who's really good, we're going to play him because I want to keep you here. You're going to see this all throughout the country over the next few years because quarterbacks are such a commodity and because this redshirt rule helps them the most. So I don't want to hear any smoke being blown about how much Nick Saban's having a love affair with Jalen Hurts when I know he would love to have two #1 quarterbacks on his football team at the same time for as long as possible.
All right, Dabo Sweeney.
Hey, Dabo Sweeney, Nick Saban, do you really think Brian Kelly wanted to lose Brandon Wimbush?
No, I hear you. In fact, there's a reason why Kevin Sumlin lost all these quarterbacks. He was loading up a quarterback at A&M, and the offensive coordinator was not playing them the right way. And Kyler Murray said, I'm out of here. And the other kid went to Arizona, and next thing you know, Kevin Sumlin got fired. And that offensive coordinator is now at West Virginia. What's his name?
Jake Spavital is now the head coach at Texas State.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Right. College football, man. Love it.
Yep.
All right, RJ Young, enjoy the game, buddy. Clemson, Notre Dame just started, so we'll get you to that game, but enjoy it. Oklahoma and Alabama, the Orange Bowl.
Thanks,
The
RJ.
national championship on the line. Appreciate you, brother. Be well.
I appreciate you too, brother. See ya.
Boomer.
Happy New Year. RJ Young joining us. Love that guy. He's great. Check out his work on YouTube. Just search RJ Young.
Oh,
or
somebody
OU
asked.
Insider.
All right, that's it for me. Deuces.